Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Raven here. Welcome back. Today we're going to do an episode of Heroes Adventures. Got our music playing in the background. And we are going to start where we left off with, with Draxio. After Vextria lost her duel slash combat, whatever you want to call it, against the Golem. She was not able to join the Black Boars Guild, and was told by the Guildmaster Alexander that she is welcome to try again next year when the guild trials come around again. And so she walked away, and we will begin with Draxio and Eddie waking up and going to the guild, and from the guild apartments where the trainees are allowed to stay. And then as we come into the guild hall, the arena is already there because it is the week of trials for the Golem fights. And today is Draxio's turn as he walks in, and Alexander says, "All right, Draxio, are you ready to fight our Golem and see if you're worthy of joining the Black Boars Guild?" He looks up at the crowd of the Guildmaster, the woman that is sitting next to him, and all of the other branch leaders within the guild as they're all sitting in the stands. And he says, "That Golem is too weak. I'm a dragon. You have to give me something more challenging, or else I'm just gonna flick that thing and annihilate it into a billion pieces, and then you'll never truly know how strong I am. Aren't these supposed to challenge us and register our strength so that you know what types of quests we are capable of taking on?" And the Guildmaster Alexander looks down and says, "Quite observant of you. Yes, that is true. If you want a more difficult challenge, then what would you like to fight? The choice is yours, for there is 8 of us here. If you're wanting to fight so badly, go ahead and choose one." And Draxio looks immediately at Alexander and says, "Well, obviously, if you're gonna entice me like that, sir, I've gotta pick you. I mean, I am a dragon. You are the strongest in the guild. I've gotta show my worth." And Alexander looks down at Draxio and says, well, as you wish. However, if we are to fight, the stadium shall not be big enough. So, we will go and everyone will gather tomorrow in the portal chamber, and we will use the portal to travel down into the third layer of the guild's dungeon, where it has been magically enforced with an area that is a planal dimension that is never ending and that repairs itself no matter how much destruction happens within. So, we do not destroy the entire village or city or forest within this region. I do not wish to destroy the land in which I rule over. And Draxio says, cool, I agree. I mean, it sucks that I gotta wait one extra day, but hey, I'm okay with that. And then Alexander says to Eddie, would you like to take your trial against the normal golem today and just become a member of the guild? Or are you going to be a prideful like your brother? And we look at him and say, well, I haven't decided if I want to actually join or not after everything that's gone on. So I mean, the people in the village are super nice. They don't freak out at a dragon just like walking around. I mean, most of the time since we can change our size at will, I am normally in like a medium size so that I don't like scare too many people, but and so I mean, I've only been here a little bit, but it is a cool place. So but it depends on what happens with my brother tomorrow. Will depend on if I choose to join the guild or not. And he says, well, that's fine, and we have until the end of the week for you to decide and take your golem trial. And Eddie looks at him and says, awesome, thank you, sir. And then Eddie and Draxio go and sleep for the day, and then the next morning we go to the guild and we go to the teleportation room, and as we walk in, it's this massive room with 12 pillars, and in the middle of the whole entire floor, except the very corners, is a circle with a triangle with a inside the circle with a diamond inside the triangle with 4 triangles coming off the ends of the diamond, and then a star in each of the triangles, and then a star in the center of the diamond. And there is a podium with a flat table, and on the table is a like a statue of a gargoyle holding a crystal ball with its head down, as if it's like bowing and holding the crystal ball out. And the guild master says, "Alright, everyone grab hands and I will activate the teleportation circle." And so we all gather around, grab hands. He puts his hand on the sphere, which is the crystal ball, and then the whole room immediately flashes like a deep white light, and then it goes orange into red, and then the sound of an explosion, and then an implosion as all the colors revert, and then the sound of like sucking inward as everyone teleports from the room, and a puff of smoke comes out of the top of the crystal ball. And as that happens, we are all teleported into the planar dimension, which I'm going to draw out. This is the planar dimension that we're in. We are going, we will say he pulls us into onto an island. We'll just make it like a random shape. Bam, an island. And we are on, we'll say, we are on the beach by the ocean. Alright, ocean, beach. Alright, so we come up on the beach next to the ocean, and over here is all wild, untamed, we'll say like jungle. And as we all come in to this area, we'll say up like right here, there is like a massive like stadium area for all the people that are watching, all the guild members and stuff like that. And as we line up on the beach, Alexander looks at Draxio and says, "Before we begin, are you sure you want to do this?" And Draxio says, "Yes, absolutely, for a dragon must prove his worth." And Eddie goes, with all this cool stuff that you've been showing us, that's, I'm guessing, guild secret, and I will go ahead and take the trial. However, I'm smart enough to not challenge you. I will, however, challenge a lieutenant. But if I beat that lieutenant, can I have their position in the guild? And William, which is one of the branch captains, stands up and speaks out, and he's like, "I'll fight ye, for I always want to be a dragon slayer." And Alexander says, "Well, looks like William the Pirate will fight you. And if you beat him, it looks like you can take over watching the oceans. On the western side of the continent." It's like, wait, and all around. And he's like, "Wait, the oceans? What do you mean the oceans?" He's like, "Yeah, they're like, I don't know, like 5 years travel from here. It's like probably like a year to the mountains, and then it takes about 2 years to get through the mountains, and then after you get through the mountains and down the mountains, it takes you about another year to get down to like about the middle end of the continent, and then it takes you about another year to get down to the coastline where the ocean is, and that's by horseback." And so we're like, "Oh, well, okay, I mean, I'm a dragon, I can make it there way faster, but, I mean, it still might take me like 2.5 years. Okay, just before, so, if I win, what, is like William still leader for like 2.5 years? No, he'd be your co-leader, and he'd keep leading only if you wanted him to. We've got everything ready to send the branch captains back to where they guard the continent once the guild trials are over. Everyone uses teleportation to get here. You think we all traveled here? Or are you crazy?" And we're like, "Oh, that makes sense. I'll go up into the stands and let you guys do your thing. I'm quite excited now." And the guild master, Alexander, says, "You're welcome, and hopefully you guys have a great fight. But for now, it's mine." And then he looks up at the stands, and the woman that was sitting next to him the other day, and she is kind of tall and lanky with long pink hair and like purplish eyes. And as he points and says, "Are you ready, beautiful?" Draxio is like, "Wait, I thought I was fighting you." And the guild master looks at him and says, "Well, Draxio, you might be a dragon, but what you fail to realize due to your both ignorance and pride is I am what is known as the first dragon rider, and that is my dragon." As she comes down and she jumps out of the stands, and like wings that are like a goldish orange tipped in red at the ends sprout from her shoulders, and she flaps her way down, and then she transforms into a golden and orange dragon with like hues of red. And as she transforms, let's see, because it's been since they were younger. Alright, so alright. Oh, what about her? Okay. Alright, so neither of them, Draxio or Eddie, realize, and the dragon is going to choose not to divulge the information and to them. And so as they are standing there, Alexander gets and climbs up on the back of his dragon, and then he like manifests a magic lance into his hand, and he says, "Now, Draxio, are you truly ready?" And Draxio lets out a massive roar that shakes the ground and begins to split the earth beneath their feet. And as he's roaring, he screams the words, "I'm always ready for lunch." And as that happens, the dragon and Alexander have a telepathic link, and they speak telepathically. The dragon says, "Well, it looks like even in 200 years, they still haven't changed. It's been about 100 since I seen them last, but I mean, wow, the same as when we were children. And the Guildmaster says back to the dragon telepathically, so are they like dumb, or do they not recognize their own sister? And she says, oh no, dragonkind is raised separately. The mothers raise the daughters and the fathers raise the sons. We only meet once every 50 to 100 years to come together for family season and dragon, which is the dragon festival, and every 50 years, and then every 100 years is the mating ritual. So I've met my brothers 4 times throughout our entire lives, so I don't expect them to recognize me. And he's like, well, should we hold back, or is his pride as a dragon going to make me have to kill him? And she says, well, hopefully we won't have to do that, but unfortunately, I mean, you remember how prideful I was when we first met, and thankfully, due to our link, you lived to the ripe old age of 180, my good human friend. But without you, I would have been the same, so doubtful. We'll probably have to kill him. And he says, well, alright, I guess we'll figure this out. And as that's going on, Draxio, like, stares and starts screaming and roaring more, making everything shake, and he screams, stop ignoring me and let's fight. And as he says that, he unleashes a massive air blast from his mouth as he uses his breath weapon, which we've got right here. Okay, so, alright, well, we know, let me check. Yeah, there's no way he can even hit the Guildmaster. So, as he spins a combat point and unleashes his air breath, which lets loose wind that erupts from his blade at such a ferocious speed, it compresses and turns into wind blades that slice through the air. As they come near his sister, she uses one of her combat points to use her roar to automatically breathe lightning from her mouth that sparks out in all directions and targets each of the wind blades, exploding them, which causes a massive tornado to twist up in the middle of the arena as it starts to bring up sand and make it all sandy, and then it dissipates as all the sand falls back to the ground. And as that happens, Draxio goes, you dragon, you're not the one I'm supposed to be fighting. Let me fight your rider by himself, unless he is a coward. And as he screams the word coward, he flies forward and goes for a claw attack, trying to claw at Alexander. And as he attempts to claw at Alexander, the other dragon, his sister, uses her combat point to do the same thing, and she smacks his hand away, and they lock arms. And as they lock arms, she she starts muttering a incantation that says, transference to me, transference from you, transference from me to you. And as she says that, she begins to glow in like a bluish white light that radiates up and then into Alexander as he begins to glow, half white, half blue, and then they collide together before the light spirals, and then a beam goes up into the air, and then she says, now face his wrath, as she's holding on to us, and she casts a spell with her third combat point that passes on her other two combat points to him and allows him to take his turn instead of her. So it passes on her remaining ones for the turn and then allows him to immediately take his turn. And so he then William starts like screaming from the crowd, and he's like looking over at Eddie, and he's like, I hope you put up just as good a fight, boy. This is a great show, is it not, brothers and sisters? And everyone starts cheering and screaming as the guild master gets up and then starts running up the neck of his dragon, and then he gets to a point to where he has to start climbing, so he unmanifests his spear, and then his lance, and then he starts climbing up. He gets on top of her head, as that's his one combat point, as they're still locked shoulders, and then he uses another combat point to jump onto the back of Draxio, and as he jumps onto the back of Draxio, he he manifests his lance, and then he uses one combat point to sheath his lance in a red and black flaming aura, and then with his second combat point, he focuses that immense aura down into the tip of the lance, and it forms a tiny ball no bigger than the size of a penny. And then as he uses his last combat point, he thrusts his lance forward, and as he thrusts his lance forward, he deals 10d20 plus 100 damage. And before that, we're gonna see if, so that's an 18 and a 78 and 41. So nope, he didn't get 2 out of 3. So he Draxio's not able to like shake him off or whatever, or ungrasp himself from grappling, as the lance is jabbed into the back of his head. And next thing is a beam of light starts to burst forth from a red and black beam of light starts to burst forth from Draxio's eyes, mouth, nose, and ears, as it builds up and builds up and builds up, and then his head explodes, and he falls to the ground. And as he falls to the ground, the dragon, his sister, she then begins to mutter a spell, and she says the following incantation: for 1 in 100 years thou be forsaken, shed from my life, arise and awaken. And as she says that, she begins to look pale, and her scales slowly look like they are beginning to wither away, as she sheds 100 years from her own lifespan to cast a spell of resurrection. And she brings Draxio back to life, and with all of his memories intact. And as he comes back to life, he looks around and goes, well, fuck, that just happened. What the fuck did you do to me? How did you get past my dragon scales? Let alone you fucking exploded my whole head. How is that possible? You're a human. You're a fucking human. And I can't even fucking eat you with how pissed I am. Because if I try, I'm just gonna fucking die again. And let alone, how in the fuck am I alive? You just killed me. Let alone how do I have memories of that? And Alexander points at his dragon and says, your sister over there sacrificed 100 years of her own life to cast a forbidden draconic spell to bring your prideful dumbass back. So you better fucking thank her for one. And two, you will come back next year and you will fight the regular fucking golem and join the guild, or I will send a letter to your father, the Dragon King. And Draxio immediately bows down his head and begins to, like, whimper as if he's like a dog, and he, like, shrinks and, like, his size down to, like, small, and he says, yes, sir, I will take a year to reflect on my actions. I'm sorry. And, he says, you can stay in the capital for the year. In fact, you will stay in the capital for the year. And you'll work for the guild, doing bullshit miscellaneous deeds. And you'll always remain in medium form, unless needed otherwise. You can help rebuild the town, and you can help play and watch children in the orphanage, and you can help till the fields with the farmers. And you can learn what it means to be in a human civilization and not let your draconic pride overtake you to the point to where if something like this would happen up there, the entire fucking city would be destroyed, along with thousands of innocent lives. And Draxio says, you're right. You're right. Well, I really don't know what to say other than you're right. My draconic pride definitely got the best of me the last week. So I will prove to you that by next year I can definitely destroy your golem, and I will be better. And he says, I know you can destroy the golem, but here's the thing. If you don't do an honest change, you're not even going to get the chance to flick the golem and join the guild. I will report to your father, for I do personally know the Dragon King. I mean, like I said, I am what is called throughout these lands as the very first dragon rider. And that's where, you know what? You don't need to know that yet. And as he says that, he looks at Eddie and he goes, hey, do you and, William want to do your fight now? And Williams immediately, like, jumps up and he, like, grabs his magic pistols and starts firing them into the air. One's fire and one's ice, and he's like, yeah! And then he, like, unmanifests one and, like, takes off his pirate hat and starts waving it around as he, like, jumps down into the stands and, like, calls his magic ship and it like comes down, and he jumps aboard, and he's like, "Ye be ready, dragon?" And Eddie says, "All right, let's do this." And with that, we will end today's session. Join us next time for Eddie's battle against William the Pirate to see if we can become the new Ocean Branch leader of the Black Boars Guild. Thank you all. Like, subscribe, and join us for more adventures.